They were the picture of the American dream. A mansion in Beverly Hills, millions in the bank, and two sons who seemed destined for success. But one August night in 1989, the dream was shattered by shotgun blasts. Within minutes, a perfect family was destroyed, and when the truth came out, it wasn't strangers who pulled the trigger. It was their own children. Why would two sons turn on the people who gave them everything? The answer is darker than anyone could imagine. To the outside world, the Menendez family had it all. Jose Menendez, a Cuban immigrant, had climbed from nothing to become a Hollywood executive. He worked for major companies, earned millions, and lived the American dream. His wife, Kitty, was a glamorous former beauty queen who devoted herself to their family. Together they raised two sons, Lyle, the confident and outgoing older brother, and Erik, the quiet but talented tennis prodigy. They lived in a Beverly Hills mansion worth millions, drove luxury cars, and mingled with celebrities. On the surface, the Menendez family represented success, privilege, and power. But inside the home, shadows grew. On the evening of August 20, 1989, everything changed. Jose and Kitty settled into their den to watch television. Lyle and Erik, both in their late teens, entered carrying shotguns. Without warning, they unleashed a barrage of gunfire. Jose was struck point-blank in the head, dying instantly. Kitty tried to flee, but panic and terror slowed her. The brothers reloaded and fired again and again, until their mother collapsed, lifeless. What followed shocked investigators. The brutality was overwhelming, a violent end in a home of privilege. But the true horror was not just in the crime, but in who committed it. When police arrived, they found two distraught sons claiming they had just discovered the bodies. Lyle sobbed uncontrollably, while Erik appeared in shock. They suggested it could have been a mob hit. After all, their father had powerful business ties. But detectives soon noticed inconsistencies. The brothers didn't seem afraid for their own lives, even though a supposed assassin was still at large. Instead, they began living recklessly. They bought expensive watches, luxury cars, and even invested in a restaurant. Within weeks, they had spent nearly $700,000 of their inheritance. For a time, suspicion lingered, but no arrests were made. Investigators had no hard evidence. But the brothers' extravagant behavior made the public uneasy. The breakthrough came through Erik's own guilt. He confessed the murders to his psychologist, Dr. Jerome Oziel. But that secret didn't stay hidden for long. Oziel's girlfriend, fearing for her safety, went to the police and revealed everything. With the confession, investigators finally had what they needed. In March 1990, the Menendez brothers were arrested for the brutal slaying of their parents. The courtroom battle that followed gripped America like a soap opera. Prosecutors painted the brothers as greedy sociopaths who murdered their parents to inherit a fortune. But the defense presented a shocking counter-narrative: years of abuse. According to Erik and Lyle, their father Jose was not the successful, admirable man he seemed. Behind closed doors, they claimed, he was a controlling, violent, and sexually abusive parent. Their mother Kitty, they said, turned a blind eye, lost in her own struggles with depression and addiction. The defense argued that the murders were not premeditated for wealth, but an act of desperation. Two terrified sons who believed their father was going to kill them after years of torment. The testimony was explosive. Millions of viewers tuned in to the televised trial, divided between those who saw spoiled rich kids trying to excuse murder, and those who believed they were victims finally striking back. The first trial ended with a hung jury. But in 1996, after a second trial where the abuse allegations were downplayed, the Menendez brothers were convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The verdict brought closure for some but outrage for others. To many, the case was more than just about murder. It was about power, wealth, family secrets, and whether the justice system could ever truly understand abuse. Behind prison walls, the brothers' story didn't end. Over the years, public opinion has shifted. Some continue to see them as entitled killers, while others view them as tragic figures, punished not only for murder but for surviving years of unspoken trauma. The Menendez case has become a cultural touchstone, featured in documentaries, TV dramas, and endless debates. It raised questions about privilege, abuse, and the limits of justice. Were they cold-blooded murderers, or damaged sons pushed beyond their breaking point? Today, Lyle and Erik Menendez remain in prison, serving life sentences side by side. The mansion where the murders occurred has long since changed hands, but the memory of that August night continues to haunt Beverly Hills, a reminder that even in the grandest homes, darkness can live behind closed doors. This was the story of the Menendez brothers, a tale of family, fortune, and the thin line between victim and villain.